Now, when it comes to vocals, especially with a lot of artists in the rap genre, you really want to have a great presence in your voice, and you want it to sound like I'm there, I'm stunning. But a lot of y'all don't really know what the compression is, and you end up over compressing and screwing up the way your sound sounds. Now, when it comes to your voice and the waveforms, there's a thing known as transients that helps pop your sound and give it definition. For example, a great example would be a kick drum. If I were to pull out this sound right here, or not this sound, this plugin where it monitors my voice, I'm gonna make a kick kind of sound. All right, so as you see here, maybe I could make this faster. So as you see here, we have a tip here. This is like this section here where it's all big. And then we have a decayed off section. If we were to play this decayed off section itself, it wouldn't have a thump. It wouldn't have a definition. It would be like a kind of thing. Where the transient is basically these peaks. Like when I snap my fingers, you can see up there at the top, those definitions. Even though it's super loud there. That is a transient, mark. What does this mean for the voice? Well, transience is a good way to stick out of your sound. Of course, having it on will help. If you don't have it on, it's like you will risk yourself and feel like you're gonna be fitting in the back. You'll be flat squished. So here we have a over compressed vocal or compressor on active. You could notice the overcompression with the use of, well, of course, overcompression. The threshold is all the way down here, and my voice looks super squished up. It's all bulky, choppy. We have some little transients, but that's because, I'm not like over ratioing the sound. And notice how flat or weird it sounds in the back there. If I were to raise up the threshold and make it sound more open like this, it would help. Of course, it will help. So, as you see here, we are still compressing, but we still have indications of hard little points. So yeah, if I were to talk like this and keep a little prominent definition feeling in my voice, we could have those peaks obvious there in accordance to overcompression, which squishes everything up, and now it looks like a whole bunch of hibby jibby messes here. Yo, I just want it all. I just want it all. So that is pretty deep. If I were to use a regular compression or not too much of a compression, we will be able to like glue the sounds to make it a little bit thicker. That way it'll stick out nicely within the beat. But at the same time, we'll also not have those, squishy peaks like over here. Yo, I just want it all. I just want it all. Get my money tall. Nah, yeah, nah. I don't know what to say. I'm just saying stuff. It is like peaking. You see little bumps and humps. You'll notice it's not as mushy or it's open in that sense. Yo, this is so open. I could even, reduce this some and have the compression still work. Yo, I just want it all. I just want it all. So yeah, it's not like squished up like the old one was, the overcompression, and you can hear the dynamics, the outside noise. I didn't mention this, but when you do go closer to the microphone, like how I am right now, it could also be another indication here where the transience is not like as effective. You do create a good bass tone, but you won't really have the decaying feel. It feels like it's just flat or fat. Where if I were to step back here, yeah, I just want it all. You could hear like a definition of my voice. You can hear my whole clarity. You can hear like decaying sounds because I'm not as close to the microphone, so my voice will die out. So yeah, I just want it all. I just want it all. Now, an example with the transient processor on. Yo, so right now this red line indicates the transient, which is the peaks again. If I were to raise it up some, yo, I just want it all. I just want it all. Yeah. Get my money tall. Get my money tall. Yeah. So you can see here, the transience is doing the peaks, and I can show you here too. These little peaks here, these are being pushed and worked up nicely. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. I just want it all. 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 The transient gives it more oomph or punch, a feel, presence. Yeah. Okay, the de-esser is on now. So yeah. I just want it all. I just want it all. Okay, now the de-esser is on. Let me see if that makes a difference here. Yo, I just want it all. I just want it all. Make my money tall. Make my money tall. So yeah, you can see it's still doing the transients here. What if I were to turn off the de-esser and have more freedom? I just want it all. I just want it all. It helps. It helps with the de-esser being afterwards, for me at least. I just want it all. I just want it all. Keep my money tall. Keep my money tall. Yeah, so you can see here all these nice peaks. This is helping give a presence in the voice.